Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Back on Track. We're on episode 2 now. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Hamish. I'm very excited. We've made it to episode number 2. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, indeed. How's your week been?
It's been good, busy. It's been very miserable weather here in not so sunny Manchester. We had such a nice week of weather, and now it's miserable. Typical.
Yeah, it's starting to cool down here in London. Have you been up to much?
I've been busy working, and that's about it. And
keeping the country running on the
exactly.
trains.
That's it. Hard grafting all the time, mate.
Nice. As for me, I've just studio sessions. I actually went to a lovely. I wouldn't know if it was really called a jazz bar. It was a bar called Stereo in Covent Garden last night. Seeing a couple of my mates play. Little jazz renditions of tunes. It's actually a very nice bar. I don't think I ever really go out drinking in London for the sheer price.
It's so expensive, isn't it? I mean, Covent Garden, somewhere like that.
Yeah,
I think you're over £7 a pint, for a decent pint.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky because the show started at 7:30, and they had happy hour up until 7:30, and the happy hour meant £5 pints and £7 cocktails, which. Other places that sounds like a lot, but out of happy hour, a pint was going to cost me £7, and the cocktail was going to cost me a tenner.
Yeah, that is just
so it's a lot of money.
Outrageous.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how people.
They've
got well-paying jobs, I guess.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I went out a couple of days ago in the suburban, rural parts of Manchester. And it was £3 for a pint.
Nice.
That's what it should be, isn't it?
I sort of have this dream of going to the middle of nowhere to like an old pub, that's like hundreds of years old that only farmers know about. And going in there and a pint being £3.
Pound.
Yeah, £1.
There probably is a few places where it's like £1.50 for a pint. I mean, I remember my student accommodation when I first moved to university. The student bar, it was £2. I think it was. I'm going to say £2.10 for a Foster's and maybe £2.50 for an Amstel or something like that. Not bad at all. I mean, it's Foster's. Well, I don't mind.
Yeah, I've actually been to a pub before though, where I thought I was going into somewhere like that, like in the middle of nowhere, really cheap beer. I was sailing, and I mean, this is already, for the demographic sailing, they probably can afford it. But we docked, and we actually had to go through a forest. It was like a 20-minute walk through the forest to get to the other dock, and there was this pub just right. Like, it's really like in the middle of nowhere. And I was expecting not to spend a lot, and a pint there was £7, and I was extremely shocked. But it was, to be fair, I think the problem is it's getting the beer there, because I think you'd either have to drive and then hike it, or get a boat over to, bring the kegs over, which I'm sure probably isn't very cheap.
Yeah, but it sounds fun.
It does.
You have to get on a boat every time. I mean, that is like, I'd really like boats. So, yeah.
Well, starting off this episode, guys, we've got a really great episode for you. And starting off, I wanted to have a look back to the 2010s. Take us back to the 2010s, sorry. To will.i.am. His tune THE, the hardest ever. Are you familiar with this tune, Jamie?
I think it's a work of art It is beautiful. I am familiar with it, and I think, as far as sort of poetic lyricism goes, it's
out there.
It's just a masterpiece.
Released in 2011 with Jennifer Lopez and Mick Jagger. We wanted to do a little rendition for the listeners out there, a poetic rendition of this. So we'll have the music start now. Do you want me to start, Jamie?
Take it away.
All right. I'ma go hard to the core. Hard like motherfucking liquid swords. Harder than worldwide stadium tours. I am the future. Glory endures. Will he survive? Never deceased. I don't think I'm ever gonna rest in peace. I'ma kill the game. Leave the rest in pieces. Now everybody wants my recipe. Tell a jealous chicken I don't know what the beef is. I'm just making that money for my grandkids' nieces. I'ma work hard. That's my basis. Beat this shit up. This beat is the shit. Feces. Pardon me, Mom. I'ma go dumb. Small, I am. I'm complicated. Hard, I am. I end the beginning, then I start again. Jamie with the chorus.
You can go... Oh, sorry.
You don't have to do all the chorus, but do a little bit.
You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. Oh my goodness, this beat is so hard. Oh my goodness, this beat is so hard. You can get that, or you can get this. You can call it demon, I'ma call it Jesus. You can get a curse, you can get a cross. You can go to work, or you can be the boss. I'ma be the owner, be a thought donor. I'ma go hard, like a motherfucking boner. I'ma make a beat to put the people in a coma. You can be a... This is really professional. You can be a... You can be a geek, or be a rolling stoner. I woke up in the morning, hard like morning wood in the morning. Woke up thinking about microphoning. E.T. owned the mic, phone the homeland. I wait out like NASA. I'm way over here. I done pasture. I get stacks of cash. You get cashews. I go hard. Statues.
You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. Now, let me take this time to say, I don't want to lead you on. You can go hard, or you can go home. Well, I know it's a lot to take. I don't want to lead you on. You can go hard, or you can go hard. You can go home. Wait a minute. I'ma make it a little harder. I'ma make it a little harder. Give it to you a little harder. Now the words of Mick Jagger. This is hard. Hard like rock and roll. Time bombs ticking. Explode. Baby, this is dynamo. Better move back now. It's about to blow. Hard like geometry and trigonometry. This is crazy. Psychology. Get it, baby. I'm about to win. Watch out now. I'm going in.
You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard, or you can go home. You can go hard.
Wow, Jamie. Wow. What a piece of poetry. Historical piece of poetry from the 2010s.
Beautiful. It was, absolutely poetic mastery.
Yeah. My standout lines, I think, for me, This beat is a shit. Feces. I think it should be the beat is the shit. This beat is the shit. But
I think it's better that it's just this beat is a shit. Feces. the dramatic pause for effect.
Yeah.
Feces.
I'd like to think actually like that's also partially like will.i.am actually, because if you hear the instrumental, I'm sorry to be rude, but the instrumental is rather it's not great either. So yeah.
They should just say this beat is shit. Yeah. Feces.
Yeah. Other standout lines. I'ma go hard like a motherfucking boner. That's good.
Yeah.
And then just following that up with the boner metaphors. Hard like morning wood.
Yeah.
Hard like morning
wood.
Yeah. Just in case, you get morning wood any other time. I reckon that was probably a point where they were like, I'm going hard like morning wood. And then they were like, oh, we need to fill in those last syllables.
Yeah, an extra few syllables.
Oh, what's a good line?
What's more? What can we add to morning wood?
Hard like morning wood in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, that does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I thought it's have you ever seen the music video for this?
I actually haven't, no.
The music video really is something. It's got it's got will.i.am going on various modes of transportation and breaking through brick walls. So he's first on like a bullet train, and then he gets on in a jet, and then he gets in a car. It's probably all sponsored, like the car sponsored at least, because they make sure to include the HTC phones. Do you remember the HTC phones?
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. I think they now manufacture for Apple and Samsung the parts. Right. Yeah, they don't make their own physical products. But anyways, yeah, all that, and of course the Beat headphones, like every other music video from back in the day. But honestly, can't show it on here, but guys, go and check out the music video after this, because it really is something. And one bit which I think you'll have the joy of looking at is Mick Jagger. So during the end part of the song, will.i.am has got into a spaceship, and he's going through sort of sonic speeds, right? And whilst he's doing that, he's sort of entering different dimensions. It originally starts with him going through various cuts of Jennifer Lopez's between Jennifer Lopez's legs while she's singing the chorus, and then he starts having to go through Mick Jagger's legs, whilst Mick Jagger is gyrating and go, we can go hard or we can go home, which and it's the best bit about it is then it cuts to will.i.am in the seat doing this. It's like he's getting
electrocuted or something.
Well, he's just getting overwhelmed by the amount of crotches he has to go through of Mick Jagger. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, honestly, a piece of history, that tune. And I hope you guys really enjoyed that poetry. I certainly enjoyed. Yeah,
good.
Now,
speaking of music, speaking of Jennifer Lopez and her legs, I'm sure you've seen the news about Jennifer Lopez and her divorce. It's been all over the news this week, but that's boring news, if you ask me. I want to know what's
weird
more
news.
Interesting. Yeah, what's going on in the news this week?
Well, weird news from my correspondence in London, Hounslow. In Inverclyde, 10 sets of twins are set to start primary school this week, making it the fourth consecutive year the area has seen double-digit numbers of twins entering school, earning it the nickname Twinverclyde. 6 of the 10 sets were welcomed by Prophets Stu McKenzie at St. Patrick's Primary School in Greenock, which is actually where my family's from, for a photo session ahead of the new school's term. Since 2013, the region has averaged 13 sets of twins each year, with this year's intake bringing the total to 157 sets. The tradition of celebrating the Inverclyde inductees has become the highlight of the community as the new school begins. What do you think of that, Jamie?
That's a lot of twins.
That is, especially when you realise how small the area is.
And they're all like, what are the odds of that? And then they all go to the same. Like,
yeah, they're all in the same area as well. And it's really. I mean, what's the odds of twins? Jamie, can you search that up?
Somebody will be able to do the maths on that.
1 in 250, which, yeah, so, and also the fact that, I mean, Scotland itself has a population lower than London. So that's like having, the borough of Richmond having that many kids for 10,
That's, yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, I'd even think Richmond probably has a higher population than Inverclyde. Yeah, so
I don't know many twins. I'm trying to think. I know a couple of twins.
As in, a couple of pairs of twins, or
as in they're the same set of twins.
Same set of twins. Yeah, I know. I went to uni with a pair of twins. It's funny seeing them because they look almost identical. Well, they are identical. They are identical.
Well, some of them are, yeah.
Yeah, and then you sort of see, because obviously, people change in uni, and you see a slight change in how they both go their different directions.
Ways,
yeah. And you could start to differentiate them, but I always used to have trouble. But, well, I mean, they're identical,
I had 2 sets of twins in my primary school. There was 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and they were identical twins, and I could never ever tell them apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially back there, because your parents give you, they dress you. And I feel like some parents they'll be like, oh, it's cute if they're wearing the same things.
You definitely forget them. If I ever was a father to twins, I'd have to get like a Sharpie and put a cross on one of those foreheads or something just to figure out which one is which. I'd never know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a very strange occurrence, and I would like to see the statistics of how that would actually happen, because it's already 1 in 250 for one set of twins. So the fact it's 10, and then 10 years consecutively, and also in a small area, maybe something in the water.
Yeah, it must be. Isn't your dad from Scotland? And is he a twin?
Yeah, he's from. If he was a twin or not. No, he's not a twin. But he's from near Inverclyde. He's in Greenock, which I think is in the area of Inverclyde. So yeah, he might. Well, they took the photos in Greenock, so I'm sure, he's probably heard about all the news going on about the twins. Yeah. Well, following on from twins, Jamie, what is happening in Manchester? What's happening from Manchester's newsroom?
Well, here in the newsroom in Manchester, I'm hearing about something that's been happening this past few weeks. We've had the annual sheep shearing and wife carrying competitions.
Wow.
Which I think just sounds amazing, because you get to shear sheep and carry wives.
Are they on at the same day, same events? Is it same
it's
place?
It's not the same event. No, you don't. It's not like a triathlon where you shear a sheep, then you go and carry someone's wife or your own wife.
Yeah.
No, it's 2 separate things. But take a guess. I've got the stats here for the world records. In 9 hours, how many sheep do you think the world record is for being sheared in 9 hours?
Now, where is this? Where is this taking place?
That is a very good question, Hamish.
And you don't know?
No, that's a very good question. It's in the
Jamie,
UK.
you need to get your research up. Yeah.
I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's somewhere near Wales.
Okay. I'm going to say in 9 hours. 1,500 sheep.
Oh, that's quite a lot, actually.
Have I overestimated?
Well, the stat that I got from the report that I listened to said 517.
Okay, I overestimated it quite a lot. I don't know how long it takes to shear a sheep. So, do you have any other information on that?
No. It takes a long time to shear a sheep, but it takes even less time for me to go and research a funny news story. Prepare it.
Yeah.
Which is why I've got the wife carrying competition stats here as well.
Yeah, okay. Tell me about the wife carrying competition then.
2 for the price of 1. Well, again, it's an annual thing. It takes place every year. That's usually what annual means.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to sort of race through ditches and obstacles, and the winner wins a prize.
Oh, wow. It originated on the 8th of June, 793 AD.
It dates back a long time, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So...
And it stipulates the wife must be alive, human, and at least 18 years old.
That would be, I mean, at least the 18 years old, I think that would be sort of the status quo you'd hope.
It also stipulates it does not need to be the carrier's wife. So it could just be
a lady.
Wife.
Yeah. 380 meters with a 15-meter ascent and 15-meter descent. That's very interesting. Well, it's similar to, I mean, you see these sort of games like what's the one that people travel all over the world for? Is the wheel? It's the cheese.
The cheese. Yeah, that happened actually fairly recently, didn't it? The cheese rolling.
Yeah.
Thing,
do you think you'd ever do that?
I've seen videos of it, and it looks like it really quite aggressive. Like people get really aggressive, like start pushing people down the hill, and it's.
I don't think you have to push people. You just honestly like how steep the hill is. You just
exactly.
People naturally start to fall. Yeah.
I'd definitely give it a go. I like cheese and rolling, so I'd love to. It would be something I'd like to go. Maybe we should go and do a special episode.
Do a special episode.
Yeah, exactly. Cheese rolling special.
That would be good. We could do a little correspondence from there. And great. Well, thank you so much. Any other news from any other information that we need to know about these 2 competitions?
No.
Jamie Cavill, our top correspondent from Manchester.
There you go. I'll tell you what we do need a competition for. Best news correspondent.
Best news correspondent. Well, I think it would start off with how much research you've done about it. That would be
a few bullet points.
A few bullet points, yeah. Well, going into that weird news, we now want to have a look at some weird genres. And Jamie, you chose the weird genre of the week this week, and do you want to introduce us to it?
Alternative genre of the week. Yeah, I did choose the weird genre of the week. And I had a good old think about what we should do for this genre, because I was trying to find something that really sort of, something that works. And eventually, it took me a while to come up with this, and eventually I settled on the idea of something that I really quite like the sound of, and that is Klezmer Metal. Which is a fusion of klezmer and metal. Now, you might be asking, what is klezmer? Or you might be asking, what is metal? So let me tell you. Metal is I was going to do the whole thing about metal. Anyway, shut up.
Yeah, go for it.
So klezmer is an instrumental musical tradition of the Ashkenazi Jews of Central and Eastern Europe. And you will have heard klezmer music, maybe not realizing that it's called klezmer, but it's got a very distinctive sort of sound, that very distinctive character, which is characterized by the instrumentation and the harmony and the sort of style of it as well. It's a dance. It's usually a dance tune, which has sort of ritual melodies, improvisations. It's heavily ornamented, and it makes use of sort of traditional folk-like modes. So when we're talking about the harmony and the melody of klezmer music, it's very modal, upbeat and dance music, but using sort of minor modes. So often you'll find sort of natural minors, harmonic minors, and modes which are traditional but similar to put it into Western harmony. Things like the Phrygian mode and the Mixolydian mode, but obviously with their sort of more traditional variations. And it's often played in a sort of upbeat dance-like way. So you will have heard it. It's often the instrumentation is. The instrumentation is often you've got a clarinet, heavily ornamented improvisatory clarinet playing the melody. You'll have strings, sort of like fiddle type strings, horns, like low brass, and stuff like that. So there you go. And that's what klezmer music is. It's sort of like Jewish traditional dance music. And metal is a material that, when polished or fractured, shows a lustrous appearance and conducts electricity and heat relatively well. Properties are associated with having electrons of... I've got them. What am I like?
Wow, I don't know how they implement the two. I've never really thought of material as quite instrumental, but yeah.
Well, obviously metal is called metal because it is like, why is metal music called metal? Because it's
heavy.
Similarity. Yeah, exactly. Heavy metal, yeah. It bears similarity. When you think of the sound that metal makes, I mean, you could think of like a cymbal, for example, on a drum kit. That's a huge sort of part of the metal sound, that heavy cymbal drumming. And of course, when you think about metals, it has that clanking sort of rusty sort of sound. So we all know what metal is. Characterized by thick monumental sounds, distorted guitars, extended guitar solos, electric guitars, that sort of stuff. Heavy, loud drumming, lots of cymbal fills, and sort of quite an angry, loud vocal sound as well. So it's a fusion of the two, and they are quite different sounds. When you bring them together, it's like a match made in heaven, and it really works. And I sort of went down a bit of a rabbit hole, sort of looking at these sort of klezmer metal music pieces, and I think it's one of my new favorite genres, to be honest. So,
really,
yeah.
I found it quite hard to find, actually. I think that it is a alternative genre. It's a very
niche.
It's very niche. It was really interesting. It sounds, almost like, because I know a lot of math rock and prog rock does that thing where they'll try and implement all these different, elements. And what I've also found is a lot of that klezmer metal stuff also takes some stuff from jazz.
Yes, a lot of that. You'll find like the clarinet solos and stuff like that. I think, and also jazz probably takes a lot from klezmer as well. Certain jazz pieces. So they're both very, very sort of similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to think that klezmer metal was a result of a Jewish teenager wanting to play metal music and their parents insisting that they play traditional klezmer.
Yeah.
And they say, fine, I'm going to do it my way. And they make klezmer metal. I had a good time, listening to it. It was really not what I expected, to be honest. I'd never heard of klezmer. Obviously, I'd heard metal. And a lot of people I've mentioned it to actually have never heard of it either. They've heard of klezmer, but they've never heard of the
fusion of both.
The fusion. And there's not. It is not a massive. There's not a massive pool of klezmer metal.
There's not a huge repertoire of klezmer metal out there. It is very niche, which is why I like it. And I think there needs to be more. If you're a young composer or an old composer listening to this podcast, go and give it a go. Write some klezmer metal music, because it's it's brilliant.
We'll have a klezmer metal song coming up at the end of the episode that I've composed. So stick around for that. My favourites that I found from the podcast, from the genre. I'm not going to pronounce any of them
Good luck.
correctly. Oh my god, they are these. This is like, honestly, I felt quite dyslexic reading some of these because I was reading it going. I remember even trying to type it out into my notes and just like this. I can't pronounce any of this.
It's all like old Yiddish terms.
Yeah. So
the singing is in Yiddish as well.
yeah. So one artist or band that I found, and I think you also had this, is Gyrating.
Yes, I'm going to go with that. Gyrating, something like that.
Yeah. Their song Tum Balayaki, which
What does it mean? What does it mean? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, what language is all this? Because
I think it's Yiddish.
Yeah, because
or
like
maybe Hebrew.
Alamelen Vassarat is actually a Norwegian band who play this sort of music. And also another thing, by the way, guys, we're going to make sure that every episode we have a little playlist for you guys to go and listen to what we're talking about after the show. We'll have a Spotify playlist ready for everyone to access. So from Gyrating, I had that song I enjoyed. Yeah,
that's the one that
how do you say it?
I'm going to go with Kokotchet.
And
Kokotchet.
As I was mentioning before, the Norwegian band Alamelen Vassarat, their stuff was what was coming up a lot for me. They're one of the big bands from this genre, and they have a song which I particularly enjoy called Vassaresi Reiseilenen.
Vassarasialenen.
Yep.
Let's go with that.
That's the one.
Sure. I'm not even going to bother trying to type it into translate.
Yeah. That one, have you heard that song?
I have, and the reason I like it is because it has that. Now this is saying that looks Finnish to me, that word.
It might be.
It's saying it's. I just typed into translate. I probably spelled it wrong, and it's come up with detected language Finnish.
They might be Finnish actually. If
Hammer Asian. So I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I liked it because it had a cool accordion part.
Well, that's what I've got on my notes. I love that intro accordion.
Very Ashkenazi. That's sort of accordion sound.
I believe it's in 7 because is that 7 or yeah? I might be
something
wrong.
Like that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I liked it. As an accordionist myself, I do like. I love the accordion because it has that real sort of like Eastern European sounds. You know, like it has that. I don't know. It's difficult to describe, but when you play it with those sort of traditional harmonies we spoke about, sort of like, you know, that sort of minor. It does really create a very sort of klezmer type sound, and it's accordion is used all the time in klezmer music. It's great. I actually inspired many years ago. I wrote an orchestral piece which was inspired by an accordion piece of klezmer music, and I thought,
oh really,
really cool. So I wrote it's a klezmer inspired orchestral piece called will.i.am, which is the Hebrew or Yiddish word. It's their expression of cheers. You know how we would all go cheers or something like that.
Yeah.
Or hooray or something. That's what I believe it to mean. And it's quite an upbeat sort of fun. But I love that. I love that sort of harmony and that sort of using minor chord progressions in a fun and upbeat way. In fact, one of the pieces which is sort of based off of this type of harmony, this type of style, is the intro to that Netflix animated series with, what's it called? I think it's by Matt Groening, and it's the one in the fairy tale land and the woman and the little bat thing. What's it
yeah,
called?
Yeah.
It's Dreamland or something like that. I can't remember.
Is it the same animator? What animation state? Yeah.
The intro to that, which I've always loved, I've always found that really cool. That uses the same idea of harmony that we see in sort of klezmer music and especially klezmer metal, which is all about taking what already is a dance type, piece of music and just elevating it to that sort of modern dance, modern sort of metal type, rock and roll type style, which I really like.
Nice, yeah. And another just a final track from myself that I enjoyed from the group Secret Chiefs 3. I'm not familiar with Secret Chiefs 1 or 2, but I do like these guys. They had a song called Vajra, which included a sitar, and I again thought that was a really interesting. A sitar's a big instrument in klezmer music. I feel like that.
I think the thing about the sitar, which is obviously an Indian instrument, which comes out of the Carnatic and Hindustani traditions from Indian classical music, but with most sort of musical traditions have developed their own similar musical instruments independently. So the klezmer tradition of music will have its own version of a sitar. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a traditional instrument. If you think about like something like the cello, which obviously came to being in the sort of Western world of Europe. If you think to Chinese traditional music, they have their own version of that, which developed totally independently of the cello, but it's its own. It's very similar, but they're completely different. They never met in their developmental life, and so things like the sitar are an example of that, where you think we have the guitar and they have the sitar, and other traditions will have their own sort of similar variation, which is their own, which is developed over their tradition over a long time. It's got that traditional sound, which I quite like, and it's another example of sort of fusion cubed, because you've obviously got the klezmer metal fusion, but then you've also got that introduction of the Indian musical influence as well, which is why not fuse 3, 4, 5 different genres together if you can make it work. If you can make it work and it sounds good, brilliant, go for it.
I did also hear another tune. It was just a live performance, but it was a violin piece, a sort of klezmer violin piece, and they put distortion on the violin.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'd never heard that before, and it was quite noisy. But I think the idea of just like experimenting with all these things is really exciting. Are you going to listen to more klezmer in your?
I definitely would. Yeah, I think I would, and I'm gonna give it a go at writing a klezmer metal piece of music, because I've written klezmer music before, and I've not really written metal music. I've written sort of like, obviously with our band, we New Sahara, we did sort of rocky.
We did
type.
More occasionally the sort of heavier rock side.
Slightly heavier. So, but I'm interested in sort of seeing what happens when you fuse these two things together, and not just limiting it to klezmer, but also fusing other sort of traditional genres with metal music. Like, for example, I mentioned Carnatic and Hindustani, traditional Indian music, classical music, and traditional music. Trying to fuse that with metal. I think it's some people might say it's sacrilegious, but I think, because metal is all this big loud thing, and these are traditional musics, but I think it's a good idea. I'd like to give it a go. Definitely give it a listen. It's definitely something I would listen off my own accord.
I think for myself, whilst it was an interesting research into genres I've never explored, I don't know if it would be in my day-to-day playlist, but definitely taking inspiration from like the way fusing really by a polar opposite sound.
Yeah, that's it exactly. It's experimental.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just think the harmony sounds amazing, and it's just fun. For me, it's just fun.
Jamie, have you got a train fact, news?
Anything? I mean, what do you want? Hit me up. I've got everything.
What have you got prepared? Let's hear that.
Prepared? Me? Prepare? That's a good one. I'd like to take things back to London, because I've obviously just returned from London on my little adventure. And it got me thinking about one of London's most greatest railway achievements, and that is, of course, the Tube.
Mm-hmm.
And so this week's interesting train-related topic of conversation comes to you from the London Transport Museum's book, which I've got here, called Tube Trivia.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Which a friend of mine bought me along a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's the A to Z Facts of the London Underground by Andrew Emerson. Thank you, Andrew. And this one I quite liked because I just picked a random page and just sort of, this is the first one I saw. So, Angel Station. A few reasons why I like this station, because it's called Angel, which is quite,
it's a peculiar name. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In Islington, I believe we actually went there one time. Did we do a gig in Islington?
We did do a gig.
We
played. We did. I think we took the train.
I can't remember.
Well,
we went to some sort of restaurant nearby. That maybe, was it a burrito place or something? I can't remember.
Yeah,
was that somewhere else?
I remember because I took a video because there was a smiley face in the kebab.
Yes, that's just ringing a bell.
Yeah. No, we played at the O2 Academy in Islington.
That was it, Islington. Yes.
Yeah,
of course. No, I remember that.
But I've also gone there a lot because my father is a director. Plays a lot at at the Old Red Lion in Islington, which is a very famous theatre pub in London. So I've been there many times in my youth. There is actually, because there is talking of fusions, there's a burrito, an Indian burrito place. I think we've been there together.
I think we might have done. Yeah.
We have, because we've gone and seen a play there.
Yes, and do they have a sort of weird underground in this shop? That's like a weird, like underneath in the basement.
I remember. Oh
area.
My god, I remember that.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
I remember that being a bit.
But
strange,
I remember them doing really. They do like chicken tikka burrito.
Yeah. You've unlocked a world of memories that I. Yeah,
like,
this is bringing me back down memory lane.
What is the cheese called? Is it paneer?
Paneer, yeah.
Yeah, I remember them having that in a burrito as well, which is really nice. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that's quite good. Yes, I remember going to watch your dad's play, which was good. So you did the music for it, of course, and it was it that one? Yeah,
I think it was. Yes. Yeah. I did that with Nathan. Yeah. So I've been there a lot of times. But what about the train station?
The train station. So did you know that the train station at Angel has the longest escalators anywhere in London?
Wow. I did not know that.
Hazard a guess. How long do you reckon they are?
Well, I overestimate my last guess on this episode. I'm going to say 30 meters.
You overestimated once more.
Damn it!
But not by a long way. 27.4
Oh,
meters.
That's so close. That is so close.
That is so close. And there are 3 of them. And they were brought into use in 1992 when the station was completely rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
It also has an extra wide southbound platform built on what was previously an island platform, which is where it's in the middle and the rails go outside. And it serves train stations in both directions. A similar wide platform exists at Euston on the southbound city branch. So there you go.
Wow, nice. Yeah, it's have you seen the guy on TikTok and Instagram who's reviewing every tube station?
What's his name?
I'm not sure, but he
possibly.
He's been going along every single tube station. He's actually rated the tube stations in Hounslow rather highly. He's rated
that's good.
My tube station, Hounslow West, particularly high. Apart from
I quite like Hounslow West. It's all right.
Hounslow West, inside it's very nice, but it's just got that weird sort of corridor to get through the car park. But yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed, they also have a little decoration in the middle of the station, where they've got a toy train that you press the button and it goes around.
Oh, that's cool. I've not seen that. I'll have to check out that next time I go. Yeah.
Nice. Anything else? Anything else about Angels?
Well, that's it. That's my book. Tube trivia, but it's an A to Z. So I mean, if you want, you can.
Yeah, I think we'll. Okay, well, let's go for letter K.
Letter K. Let's see what we've got going on for K. J, K, L, M. I need to remember the alphabet. Here we go. Kennington.
Or
Knightsbridge. Which would you prefer, Kennington
Let's
or
go
Knightsbridge?
Kennington.
Kennington is the only remaining example of the architecture of the world's first deep tube line, which means it's low underground. The City and South London Railway. The station building was designed by T. Phillips Figgis, the company's architect, and like all the other stations built for the new line, it is surmounted by a large lead-sheathed dome.
Oh.
Which is very interesting. Not only that it's a dome, but it's lead-sheathed. The building is of red brick, which is, of course, the best kind of brick, being a Mancunian or honorary Mancunian, with pale stone decoration, and from the outside is largely unaltered from the opening, except for the entrance. Kennington was given a Grade 2 listing in 1974.
Wow.
So an interesting fact there.
Nice one. Thank you for that, Jamie. Well, next week, could you come in and give us some information about your favourite train station?
My favourite train station.
Or will I have to give? Do we have to do favourite train stations in areas? Or have you got lots of favourite train stations?
I've got a lot of. I think I've got maybe a joint.
Well, we've given the South quite a bit of love so far. So let's give me, if you could give me your favourite train station from let's say from Scotland. If you can come in next week and us have a look. I don't know how often you're up in there, but you know, sure you've done your.
It's been enough times to know what station I like up there. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that next week. Finally, next, Jamie, have you got a dad joke for us?
Well, I don't actually have a dad joke. You know, I never come prepared, but I do have an anecdote from something that I did last week. This is a true story, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
So last week I was actually hosting a corporate award ceremony, and guess who won?
Who won, Jamie?
Oh, it was a scarecrow. He was outstanding in his field.
Very good, Jamie. That was very.
Would you like that one?
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, what's grinding your gears this week, Jamie?
So a couple of days ago, I was at work, and I don't know why on this day everybody decided to do the same annoying thing, but it really got to me. And I literally said to somebody if somebody tries doing this again, I am going to actually kill myself. And it's quite a random thing, but basically, I was working a train, a 150/2 for anyone that cares, and which is probably nobody, and for some stupid, annoying reason, some people are really quite stupid, and it just sort of annoys me.
Yeah.
On the 150/2, there's a slam door to get out onto the platform, and it's a passenger only. It's a staff only door.
Yeah.
Because it's the door into the cab of the train where you've got all the controls, all the buttons, and everything. It doesn't go. You know, it's staff only. That's how you control the train from there.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, people kept trying to go in that door, even though I was standing right in front of it. And people were like, "Oh, can you let me in?" I was like, "No, I can't. It's just the fucking cab, mate. Like, what are you going to do? Start driving it?" No. And then I was like, "No, you can't get in through here." And I was like, you know what? Fine. Maybe you weren't paying attention, whatever. A couple of stations later, someone else tried to do it again. trying to get in through the cab, and I had to say to the guy, "Oh no, you can't go in there. That's like that's the driver's seat. You can't. You can't."
Is this in between the train? In the middle of the train? Or?
Yeah, it's in the middle at the front and at the rear, like because. It's
so how come they can't go through the middle? Because the train driver's clearly at the front, no?
Yeah, but it's got all the controls in it. It's got all my controls in it to like control the train.
Because South Western Railway lets you go through there.
Well, some trains you can walk through the middle, but on this one, it's what's called non-compatible gangway stock. So you can't actually go through. So you're either in the front or the front two or the rear two. You can't. There is no walkway to get it through where the two trains couple up together.
Yeah.
And so it's just the compartment where the driver sits or where the guard sits, where you've got all the controls and everything like that. And yeah, so people kept trying to, and then I thought, all right, this is getting annoying now. 2 people have tried to get in when I'm standing right there and there's a big sign saying no unauthorized access.
Oh, right. So yeah, it's already well informed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, it's a tiny little door, which is only, capable of getting one person in and out. Right. And it's got the drop down window with my head sticking out. And like, it clearly does not look like, if you saw a train guard coming out, you wouldn't think, oh, I'll just get in there with him. Anyway, it really annoyed me. And then someone tried to do it. Someone else tried to do it. And I thought, you know what, that's it. This is the final straw. It's really annoyed me because like, this is my workspace. What are you trying to do? Getting in and out. Anyway, it pissed me off. And there's a massive sign saying no unauthorized access or whatever, no passengers allowed. Like, can you even read? Some people just have no common sense. And I feel like the second people walk into a train station, they just lose all sense of, common sense. And they can't read, they can't speak, they don't know how to count because they're going onto you say platform 5 and they're standing, oh, I'm on platform 7, where's platform, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's, but
that's been grinding your gears this week.
Yeah. Rant over.
Nice. Good work. As for myself, it's less of a people and more of items. Particularly this week, cables have been annoying me. They've always annoyed me.
Started.
They've been grinding my gears. You can't live with them. Can't live without them. Anytime I'm trying to record anything, cables just get tangled and pop up and trip me over and fling stuff off the desk.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I can't go wireless for everything, so I'm alas stuck with the burden of having to fight with these physical snakes of the
snakes of destruction, of electronic destruction. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, they've been grinding my gears really.
They do annoy me, cables as well. Like, you just have so many of them. Like, why do you need so many different ones and different things, and they're all over the place? It does annoy me. Cable management is a thing. You need to invest in some little ties,
I have been, and they still find a way to get around me. So
yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you very much for tuning into episode 2 of Back on Track. I myself have been Hamish Tate, and alongside
I've been Jamie
Cavill. So yeah, guys, thank you very much. And up next is my rendition of a Klezmer Metal tune. Enjoy.
Thank you, and good night.